Let's go back to the fight against ISIL in Libya and the news that the U.S. Special Ops teams are now on the ground there. With reaction to all of this, we're joined now by Kamran Bokhari. He teaches courses at the University of Ottawa. He's also a fellow with George Washington University's program on extremism, and Bokhari is also a senior analyst with the intelligence firm Geopolitical Futures. Always great to have you on the broadcast. We just heard Daniel Rynch's story where Michael Hanlon said, referring to the U.S., quote, showing that we are already willing to be on the ground conveys a seriousness of purpose, but they don't have a lot of folks there. What are they demonstrating?
I think it's a way to, get your hands around the problem. I think that for a very long time, ISIL has been able to essentially operate in country unmolested. And I think the United States, considering the circumstances and the proximity to Europe, and in the light of the attacks that ISIL has perpetrated in France and elsewhere, is stepping up. And I think that this is not something new. It's probably been most definitely been in the pipeline for some time. We're just hearing about it now.
Is it a good move?
It is the best that can be done in the light of the fact that the Obama administration is not willing to commit large-scale conventional forces, and in my opinion, rightfully so, because it's very difficult for any outside military power to pacify a country that is as chaotic as Libya. The United States was able to effect regime collapse in Iraq and in Afghanistan, but we've seen from both examples that pacifying the country, stabilizing it, is something that's beyond the capability of U.S. military forces.
Also, news on the diplomatic front. Diplomats from a large number of countries, organizations, including the U.S., say that they are considering arming and training the new unity government in Libya to counter ISIS and the smuggling of immigrants. But you talked about the chaos. Will more weapons reduce the chaos or add to it?
Unfortunately, in my opinion, it'll add to it, because when you drop weapons in a place and you want that move to be effective, you're assuming that there is an entity that can absorb that assistance, military and financial, and actually do some good with it. But when you have Libya, where the unity government is just sort of on paper, and in reality does not have any existence, it's still struggling to emerge, then what you're really doing is adding to the amount of weaponry that's available to the dozens and scores of militias that roam around the country, and essentially prevent the rise of any central authority.
The Italian foreign minister said it's essential to take these steps because it will stabilize the country. He said, quote, with stabilization we can fight terrorism. But we've seen examples in the past where weapons have fallen into the hands of ISIS. Clearly in Iraq that was the case. What do they need to do to stabilize this chaotic country?
I think that unless the stakeholders of Libya, the various factions, whether they are in Tripoli, Benghazi, Tobruk, Misrata, wherever they are located, whether they're militias, whether they're political parties, alliances, tribal allegiances, if all the stakeholders cannot be brought together and there be a social contract that everybody signs off on, I don't think that we're going to see any change in the situation on the ground in Libya. Unfortunately, that is what it is.
If you like what you just saw, follow us on social media and visit our website, cctv-america.com.